Okay, I started this video off with a 10-minute time lapse of Betelgeuse. Okay, and I turned it into 40 seconds as it rises. You can see it's a pretty interesting star. And I got a little time lapse of the three kings. Okay, this next video I'm going to do the four corners of Orion's belt. Actually, what I do is I take pictures of the four corners, some astrophotography. And by the way, I'm going to say this. I love my little mini Hubble. This camera is awesome, especially at taking pictures. Get some great astrophotography on this. And I stay on Betelgeuse here for a little bit. I thought Betelgeuse was very interesting because it's a big bright red star. And some of these pictures you're going to find that like this one's a little out of focus. I take several shots and I try to get it back into focus, but I want you to be able to see when they're out of focus, when they're not out of focus. Now this one's back in focus. I backed out a little bit. There's timestamps on it, so you can obviously see what day it was and what time it was that I was taking these pictures. And I videotaped and took pictures. You'll see some videotape. I didn't do a whole lot of videoing on the actual stars until the end, and the main one that I got was Sirius. Now this one's the first one was Betelgeuse. This one's the next one, upper right corner. If it was if Orion's belt was standing straight up. So it's not quite as bright of a star, but an interesting star. I'm pretty sure that this is the next one. Now I'm not the best on naming all these stars, but you'll be able to name them if you want to look them up. I could look them up too, but I spent a lot of time on making this video. But I can tell you, in each one of these what star I'm actually on, so you can look at it. Now this is just a picture. I took a snapshot of Orion's belt. This way I can figure out which ones I want to zoom in on. Now this one's looks like it's a little out of focus too, because it's just a round blob. Let's see, I get a little bit better with it. I believe this is the same one. I might be wrong, but I believe this is the same one in the upper right hand corner, or very well could be the bottom left hand corner. I did so many pictures it was hard for me to remember which was which, what was what. Again, here's one that flared up on me as I was taking the pictures. Give you a different look on them anyhow. So as you zoom in and you're taking these pictures, you do want to back out a little bit sometimes so you can actually get a very nice video or a nice picture of it. And then you do get some color in it. I didn't add these are right off the camera. Later on I do got a couple pictures I did change, but I'll let you know when I get to those. And Actually, I think this one's the right hand corner. You usually tell by the brightness because Betelgeuse is bright, and then the star caddy corner from Betelgeuse is also bright, and the other two are a little dimmer. So if these pictures come up, where one's a little bit brighter than the other, you can tell just by the brightness of them. Another funny thing that I noticed while taking some of these pictures is you almost get the sense that there's a reflection going on, where there's some reflections of these stars, and I always say, well, what are they reflecting off of? To me, they're reflecting off the dome. And these ain't a good example, but you'll be able to see some here. I'll pick them out for you as we're going along. Now this one, I think I am zooming in on the bottom left-hand star. Yeah, this is the bottom left, and the other one was the bottom right. I could be wrong. That other one could have been the one at the right top too. But let me see as we're going through these. Like I said, I did so many pictures, I kind of got lost in putting these up on the screen, and then I had a malfunction where I had to download this video because it gave me a splat, and I couldn't do nothing with it. I had to just save the project, so then I exported it, and then I had to reload it and then add the pictures back on that I wanted to, because it wouldn't let me make the pictures a little bit bigger, so they were all going to be real short, small pictures, and I wanted to extend them out a little bit longer so I could talk to you about them. So, as I took these pictures, I let the star itself move up on me. So, I could just take picture after picture after picture. Now, let's see here. This one is, there's the three kings right there to the left of the screen. And there's the bottom right corner one. It's the brighter one on the right hand side of the screen. Yeah, okay, and I threw in another little time lapse of the three kings. Okay, a little closer up zoom, and this, I believe, was like a 10-minute time lapse. It could have been a 25-minute time lapse. I'm not really quite sure, but you see the three kings. They're the brighter of the three stars here, and the bottom one's going to come up, or it already did. Nope, there it is. But again, you look at these, and I say I see reflections sometimes in them. So we have to look at that and think about it. What is it reflecting off of? Could there be like one light source or several light sources, and then things blow up on it? All right, I believe in this one here, I got the there's three stars that are to the right of the three kings. And I'm not sure which one this one was that I was zooming on. Then again, it could be that right hand corner one, but I don't think so. I think these are one of the three stars that we see off to the right of the three kings. I want to call them the three sisters, because they're very, very interesting stars. And this one could be the top one. Again, like I said, I did do so many videos so many pictures. Got a little crazy on me when I was trying to go back through and load these in, which ones were which, because when you do 100 of them, 50 to 100 pictures, it gets confusing on remembering which ones were which. But I think you'll agree that this camera is awesome. The Nikon Coolpix P900. I'm waiting to see if they come out with another camera that's even stronger, more powerful. If they do, I'm gonna probably try to purchase it. I know my wife won't like it, but oh well. I almost want to say that this is the top one of those three stars, the three sisters. I'll call them the three sisters. And again, I take multiple pictures of the same star as these stars are rising. And it's the stars that are moving. We're not moving. Earth isn't moving. As I say, you look up, you see all the stars moving, but then they want to tell you we live on a globe and that we're spinning at 1,000 miles an hour, and this is why the stars appear to move. Well, I can look at it the opposite way and say that all the stars are moving above me. I zoom in on this a little bit more, and it's very interesting. You get one right beside it, and see, as I zoom in a little bit, that one disappears, but it looks more like a reflection of this star off of something. Again, very, very, very interesting photographs of these stars. Now, too, I always say, how come I can, zoom in on these stars that are supposed to be light years away and get such nice pictures, but when I'm out videotaping something out on the water, I can only go so far. I know I have atmospheric conditions that get in the way, that distort the image or the object that I'm videoing, like I'm sure a lot of y'all seen my boat videos. I have tons of boat videos that I haven't even posted on the internet yet, but there's some very, very interesting things. This is where some of these, you start getting a sense that there's a reflection going on, and I say it's a reflection off the dome. The waters above, the dome above. I mean, I'm not actually positive exactly what is going on, but I can tell you this, that we don't know what's up there. There was a scientist, Mr. Picard, that went the highest in a balloon, before any other man had ever went up there. He went up into the stratosphere, 51,000 feet and better. I do believe it was higher than 51,000 feet. And then they had a Hennessy, which was a whiskey commercial, showing it actually, the balloon busted and then them going into the waters above. Well, I don't think the balloon busted, because these guys would have never made it back. If the balloon would have popped, then they would have, fell back to Earth. Or how would they have gotten back out of the water to get back to Earth? So that's a good question, But I believe that this man did go up very high, and all the information that they got, all the scientific information that they got, because he actually even captured air from the stratosphere. We were never taught about this man, never taught anything about him. So, I look at it as, this is hidden knowledge from humanity that really needs to be brought forward. And if, people that are doing research on the gentleman find out any information and put it on the internet, we get ridiculed. We get ridiculed for trying to prove that the Earth is flat. Now, I did a video of a ship out on the horizon, and people said, "Oh, well, you got proof that the ships sink over the curvature of Earth." But I say no. A closer object, which would be waves, can obscure a farther object. So my camera is only being able to focus on the waves at a certain distance, but it sees the boat still farther beyond, because the boat sticks up much higher. So these waves slowly, as the boat gets farther and farther from the camera, the waves themselves are obscuring the boat. So it gives you this illusion that the boat is sinking. The boat ain't sinking. It's these waves that are blocking out the lower hull, and then eventually it'll block out the whole boat. So if you haven't seen my video on that, watch it and, you know, make a comment. Let me know what you think. But it's a very interesting video. And I'm going to be showing and doing some tests on how to show how these smaller objects that are in front of a bigger object can actually hide that bigger object. Okay. Now, this is that galaxy that's up there. And I did several pictures of these. And I stayed on this for a while because I really think that these are interesting. And again, you can see how they look like a little bit of a blur in there, and that's because they are moving. All these stars are moving very fast above us. And I personally don't think that they're at the distances that science tells us. Number one reason why I don't believe it, because you have to believe them in order to believe that that's the distance. How do they know? They've never gone there. They've never measured it. They're only theorizing the distance of these planets, these galaxies, planets, stars. It's all a theory. You know, people want to argue with you that, oh, you know, they've sent probes out there and everything. And, you know, they can tell you they got this rover on Mars that's running around on Mars. But when you look at it, it just looks like a video of somewhere out in a desert, somewhere out in a very distant location that nobody really ever goes to. Very few people are there to witness their scam. These guys are scam artists. They're scamming us. They've been scamming America for decades upon decades. Meanwhile, people will argue with you because they're so proud of our country being the first men on the moon. But really, I think it's bogus that they went to the moon. There's all kinds of information that you can find. Funniest thing happened on the way to the moon. Videos like that really make you question whether or not we went there. So, you know, if you have any doubts, research it more, because they hide it. They've been taking billions, millions and billions of dollars out of the taxpayers' pockets to support this NASA, nassholes, as George Carlin would call them. Big bunch of nassholes, fooling us with all the trickery that's possible. CGI imagery, CGI this, CGI that. Watch the movie Gravity, and then watch them on ISS space station. The ISIS. You know, add another I in there and it's ISIS. These guys are up there screwing around, playing. They don't even do anything that's really, to me, what they show us. It's just like a bunch of kids up there playing around, and it costs us millions of dollars a week, millions of dollars a month, billions of dollars over the decades. So, you know, why do we believe this stuff? I mean, because again, you have to believe it. And when the masses believe it, then you're ridiculed, criticized, insulted, and called all kinds of names because you are questioning the mainstream. You are questioning the masses, what the masses believe. So I'm one that I do question. I've been questioning everything now, because once you question one thing, all of a sudden you seem to start questioning other things. And then you question our history. You question all kinds of things that really, I can't even begin to tell you that the farther you get into the flat earth, the more you listen, the more you watch and pay attention to what's being said in the videos, it becomes undeniable. Yeah, there's scripture in the Bible that tells you about it, about Earth not spinning. It's not movable. It can't be moved. And then there's one where, you know, he asked God to stop the sun from moving, and he stops the sun. He doesn't stop the Earth from spinning. He stops the sun. So, you know, what are we to believe? Alright, let me get back to my stars here. Now, here again, these are the three sisters, but there's a lot more there than meets the eye. You know, with the naked eye, you don't see all of this. You don't even see half of it. But again, you can see some of these stars look like reflections. And, you know, I put a few of them in here that are way out of focus again to show you the difference between in focus and out of focus. And again, look at this one. And it looks like there's three stars up toward the top, and then there's a reflection of the three stars with another star behind it, which is the other star that's in front of it. So really look at these videos or these pictures as I'm going through these. That's why I made them a little longer, so you could actually see them and you can actually question, what are we really looking at? What's really being shown here? Like I said, this camera is absolutely awesome, and it gives you a really different perspective of what's up in the sky. Yeah, again, like I said, some are not very good, but I left them on there intentionally so you could see when they, you know, how when somebody's out of focus on something, it's very easily shown, and this is one of the things that I did also. Now, let's see here. I wonder if these three videos or these three pictures are coming up. I got three pictures that I did mess around with the contrast, saturation, brightness, and hue. And I'm going to say 1, 2, and 3 as I go along here. The first one, I set this contrast to 3, saturation to 100, brightness to 7, and the hue on 14 with the auto enhancement and denoise. The second one I did 5 on the contrast, 86 on the saturation, 7 on the brightness, and minus 14 on the hue with the auto enhance and denoise. The third one I put 100% saturation or contrast, 100% saturation, brightness was at 53 and the hue was at 100, and that's on the third one. And they're coming up here shortly, and I'll tell you, I'll say screen 1, or picture 1, picture 2, and picture 3. And then I go on to do the last one with 2 videos that I did, and it was getting late, very late, so I wanted to get in. So some of these pictures are not at the same time frame because it was actually later than, let's see, 10:19, because I didn't actually get to bed till after 11, so it was definitely after 11. Alright, here comes the first picture. Hang on, it's coming up. I think we're lagging a little bit here. There's one. Remember, I messed with the contrast and all on that one. There's 2. You can see even in the color of this timestamp. And there's 3. Okay? And then it's going to go into my video. Okay. That's serious. That's the best focus I can get for you people. But I've got some excellent pictures, excellent pictures. That's at full zoom. Damn air conditioner heater. Okay, it was getting late and I surely wanted to get to bed. I was up real early this particular morning. like about 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm an early bird. Love to get up early, and I do try to get some shots of the stars in the morning. But this was some excellent video that I got of Sirius here. So I'm gonna do some more video. Now this goes out of frame, and I'm gonna cut this video short on this part. Alright, this was what was really important, is having the manual focus available so you can focus in on the star itself a little bit better, and you'll see this is a good example of what happens. See, I don't even see nothing, and as I start focusing my camera, you'll start seeing it appear. The star is there, but it's just way so out of focus that you can't get it. And here I'm starting to get it. I'm starting to pick it up, which is excellent. You know, to me, this is perfect example of why you want to use your manual focus, because the star looks very, very interesting when it's out of focus, and I'm guilty myself of putting some of these up on the internet and claiming them as the actual star. I don't know, and I actually don't think so, because you'll see as I focus this star in, the difference of the appearance will change. So we have to learn to definitely use this manual focus. And I still say that the star is very interesting, even when you focus it into focus. It's a very interesting star. Again, this is still Sirius, and I think this is a Sirius star. And under the proper focus, if you ask me, I think it looks just as interesting as when it's not in focus. Actually, I think this is better, if you ask me, because you're getting a more reality check on what you're actually zooming into. And I did a little test with some lights that I'll put up on another video and post it on, focusing in on a light. And you'll see my test results from it. And I think you'll agree that they're very interesting. And when are we actually focused in on the light itself? All right. So I've been doing these focuses so I could show people the difference between out of focus, in focus. I even got some videos where, I'm on autofocus and my camera flares up, flares down, flares up, flares down, and you're getting a whole bunch of different images off the camera by the camera trying to focus on the star. So again, I'm just as guilty as a lot of the other people that are putting them up there, claiming that is what the star appears to be. I think this is again more of a better reality on what the star is, and I may even pull a bunch of my videos off the internet because I do feel as if it's really kind of disinformation. But I'll leave it up to the viewer to decide. But I think you'll agree that these are very interesting. And here coming up, I do slow a little piece down by 50%, and I zoom in on it using the zoom tool, just because I wanted to take one little piece and try the zoom tool on it and see what we got. All right. So when you see the stars pop up here, that's when I use that zoom tool. Okay, I hope you loved my presentation. Like, share, make comments. I'm more than happy to discuss things. I hope you enjoyed my presentation, and I hope you like all my astrophotography that I put out there. Again, this took me a long time to create and make, and I did it all in the best interest of people viewing the stars.